Quantum Humans, the series begins. Welcome to Quantum Humans, the next stage of evolution. I'm Adeline, and in this opening video, we're laying the foundation for everything you're about to see. This isn't a sci-fi series. It's not futurism for entertainment. It's a real-time investigation into the bleeding edge of biology, quantum physics, neuroscience, military experimentation, and human enhancement. Our question is direct. Are we witnessing the rise of Human 2.0? A new phase of evolution not driven by nature, but by conscious design. Before we dive into quantum biology, DNA hard drives, supersensory augmentation, and the ethics of engineered babies, we need to make sure we're speaking the same language. The concepts in this series aren't just advanced, they blur the boundaries between disciplines. So this episode is your prep course, the key terms, principles, and mental framework you'll need to overstand, not just understand, what's coming. Let's begin with quantum biology. Most people are familiar with quantum mechanics in the context of physics: tiny particles, weird behaviors, entanglement, and probability waves. What fewer people realize is that these phenomena don't just apply to subatomic experiments in labs, they also appear inside your cells. Quantum biology is the study of how life itself might rely on quantum processes to function. Things like photosynthesis, smell, DNA replication, even the way birds navigate across the planet, all may depend on quantum tunneling, entanglement, and coherence. In other words, biology may not just be mechanical, it may be quantum-coded. This matters because if your body is already running on quantum processes, then you are not just a chemical machine. You're a quantum computer in motion. And if that's true, then enhancing those functions, tuning your quantum biology, isn't science fiction. It's a biological upgrade waiting to happen. Next, let's define quantum coherence. In classical systems, particles act independently. But in a quantum coherent state, particles share a kind of synchronized existence. They behave as a unit, even when separated. This is what allows quantum computers to perform millions of calculations at once. And there's growing evidence that similar states may exist in biological systems. Some researchers now believe microtubules in neurons, tiny structures once thought to be just scaffolding, might maintain quantum coherence long enough to influence consciousness. That leads us to our next term: consciousness. This word gets used loosely, but in this series, we treat it as both a neurological function and a quantum event. The OR theory, short for orchestrated objective reduction, suggests that consciousness arises from quantum processes in the brain's microtubules. If that's true, then altering those processes through frequency, vibration, or chemical agents could alter the nature of awareness itself. That's where psychedelics come in. Psychedelics and neuroplasticity are central to Section 1 of this series. Substances like psilocybin and ayahuasca aren't just trippy. They appear to temporarily enhance the brain's ability to form new connections, synaptogenesis, and may even modulate the quantum tunneling activity of electrons in neural structures. MIT researchers have found that psychedelics don't just light up the brain, they reshape it, possibly by accessing deeper energetic fields that govern perception. This takes us to a more controversial idea: quantum perception. Some people report seeing electromagnetic fields during altered states. Others claim heightened intuition or sensing surveillance technology. In the mainstream, this is dismissed. But military research suggests there may be a biological basis for so-called supersenses, the ability to perceive things beyond the 5 standard senses. That brings us to magnetoreception, the ability to sense magnetic fields. Birds, fish, and even cows have it. And there's evidence that humans may have a dormant version of this sense, possibly through cryptochrome proteins in our eyes. The US military and DARPA have both funded research into enhancing this ability in soldiers. So when we talk about Human 2.0, we're not just referring to bionic limbs or genetic tweaks. We're talking about upgrading the body's native hardware, activating latent abilities, enhancing perception, and integrating biological systems with quantum technologies. This isn't just physical. It's cognitive, it's energetic, it's evolutionary. Now let's address another core topic: DNA data storage. Your DNA doesn't just contain the blueprint for your body, it's one of the most efficient storage systems ever discovered. Microsoft has already developed a working prototype that can store hundreds of terabytes of data in a single gram of DNA. Why does this matter for human evolution? Because storing digital information in living cells, and possibly retrieving it later, blurs the line between memory and code. Some experiments have encoded music, books, even computer viruses into strands of DNA. If your cells can store code, then your body is a hard drive. And the next logical question is, can we back it up? This takes us to digital immortality. Several startups are already working on combining DNA banking, neural scans, and consciousness simulation to preserve individuals for potential reanimation in the future. Whether that's cloning, uploading, or synthetic rebirth, the goal is the same: cheat death by externalizing identity into code. In this context, you become data, and that data becomes portable, reproducible, and, depending on your beliefs, resurrectable. You'll also hear terms like biocomputing and DNA internet. These refer to systems that use biological material, like neuron clusters or engineered DNA, as computational infrastructure. Instead of silicon chips, we're talking about living tissue-running algorithms. Experiments with brain organoids already show that neurons can learn simple tasks. And in 2025, researchers demonstrated a DNA circuit that could run basic logic gates. These aren't toys. They're the early building blocks of living processors. Next, supersenses. This section of the series covers augmentations that go beyond the typical 5 senses. Think echolocation, infrared vision, magnetic field detection, and even 360-degree situational awareness. Much of this is already in human testing. Implants, biohacks, synthetic proteins, and neural interfaces that allow people to perceive their environment in entirely new ways. This is where transhumanism and military innovation collide. Then there's biohacking, a catch-all term for DIY biological experimentation. We're not just talking about supplements. We're talking about people injecting themselves with gene editing tools, wearing experimental sensors, even performing surgery to install magnets, LEDs, and chips. Some biohackers are trying to enhance performance. Others are trying to sense new dimensions of reality. And a few believe they're unlocking what religion has always hinted at, that the human body was designed to evolve. And we've barely scratched the surface. As the series progresses, we'll get into declassified intelligence programs like the CIA's Gateway process, which explored altered states, out-of-body experiences, and quantum consciousness using meditation, binaural beats, and energy entrainment. These weren't fringe ideas. They were funded, structured, and documented in now public government files. We'll also address ethics. Because with CRISPR babies, digital minds, and quantum augmentation comes a hard question. Who decides what's human? If we can edit genes for enhanced perception, memory, or emotion, do we have the right to say no? Or is it unethical not to evolve if the tools are available? That debate is no longer academic. It's happening now in fertility clinics, corporate labs, and defense agencies. By the time we reach the final episodes, we'll be deep into Humanity 2.0, not just in theory, but in trials, startups, and secret programs that are already underway. Whether it's a baby born with quantum-enhanced vision or the first person to encode an entire book into their cells and pass it to their children, the transformation has begun. So now ask yourself, what does it mean to be human? Is it your DNA, your thoughts, your memories, your soul? What happens when all of those can be copied, edited, enhanced, or sold? This series doesn't promise answers. It delivers the questions, hard, urgent, and unavoidable. Because Human 2.0 isn't coming. It's already under construction. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing. And no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future. Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social credit systems. The behavioral economy now governs access. 4. Hive mind. Synthetic telepathy and collective algorithmic control. 5. Nanobots inside you. Medical, military, and programmable intrusions. 6. Grief tech. AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading your mind, consciousness transfer, and data-based identity. 8. Deep fakes plus AI clones. The replication of reality and identity theft. 9. Quantum humans. The merger of biology with quantum systems. 10. Digital afterlife, where your data goes when you die. 11. Resurrection science, reviving life through synthetic methods. 12. Immortal science, the end of death as we know it. 13. Longevity science, gene editing, anti-aging, and bio-upgrades. 14. Designer babies, engineered perfection before birth. 15. Artificial wombs, birth decoupled from the female body. 16. 3D printing, printing organs, limbs, and even humans. 17. The humanoid era, the rise of synthetic beings among us. 18. Legacy humans, the slow phase-out of unmodified analog people. 19. Smart cities, algorithmic environments that watch and decide. 20. Cloud-based societies, citizenship without borders or bodies. 21. Hackable humans, emotion, memory, and behavior under code. 22. Biometric scanning, your body is your password and your prison. 23. Sex tech, intimacy reprogrammed by machines. 24. Extinction of gender, fluidity, deletion, and design of identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.